This is me in spring 2021, and this is me in 2017 and 18, and this is me now. I know you're going to say, nah, nice, you achieved this in a nice short time frame, but I was never able to. Sorry, I've tried everything. Trust me, I have been so unsatisfied with how I look for like 10 years at least. And in this 10 years, I tried hundreds of things that, by the way, that so many people do around. Like all the method to weight loss, to try all the training, nutrition, I tried everything and I was not able to. The surprising thing is that I finally managed to do this, and that's why I record this video, because ultimately the method that helped me the most is the most obvious, the most on the surface one. It's working, and for some reason people still didn't do this. I don't know why. But today I want to share with you the algorithm, how you move from whatever look you have now to a look that you love much better, and I'll guide you through 5 steps to do this. And I know that body transformation sounds like a grind and a torture and something to suffer and work, but trust me, this will be a pleasure. I mean, aside of like this being the most working method, this has been also the most pleasurable method, the one I enjoy, and I stick to it. I just live it. I just live this principle. The most important part is that these principles need to be understood as a whole, and I will guide you through all of them, and the most important will stay in the end, because to understand it, you need to get the previous 4 ones and get the final one. So please do not forward the video too fast, because you won't get the thing. Let us start with what people confuse the most, okay? So what people do when they want to lose weight. Well, okay, probably they sign up for a sports class. I know I've been there, and I've done this myself. Like I would get a month in the Barry's boot camp, and I'm like, this class is hard, it's very aggressive, it's promoted by super athletic people, and I cannot wait to see myself in a month so ripped and in shape. And this is wrong. In fact, no class will change how you look in a month or 2, or sometimes 3. I mean, sometimes classes do, but it's not because of them. But most of the time, people just attend classes. What they do, Pilates, Barry's, HIIT, whatever, and they don't get results. And the reason is simple. The reason is because any sport, any activity plays only 20 to 30% role in your weight loss, and your food is the most important. So you can go as hard as you want in sports, but unless your food is fixed, this just will not work. And what happens with food? So we are all familiar with the notion of healthy food, and I shouldn't tell you that, wow, you shouldn't eat in McDonald's. This will not surprise you. I know. But even with healthy food, like what I see people doing is like you leave a class, you leave a Barry's bootcamp class and you get this nice protein shake that they serve on the counter afterwards. Or you get a snack, you get a protein bar for a snack at work instead of like a sandwich. And then for breakfast, you have like granola instead of eggs and bacon. The problem is, these foods are not healthy, and the label healthy and the sort of marketing notion of what's healthy is completely wrong, and it's driving people in a very wrong direction. The easiest way to understand what foods are healthy and the foods that promote your better way to look better is whole. Just remember this food, whole food. What is whole food? So whole food is any food that just grows or like is produced and is not changed or modified too much before it gets on your plate. Let's get an example. So you have oats. You have nice, beautiful oat groats that are whole. This is like the most whole version of oats. By the way, I love them. They can be cut in like halves and sold as steel cut oats, which is basically not processed as well because it's just cutting, so they do not add anything extra. Then you got an oat flake, which is like squeezed, but also it doesn't have some parts of a grain already, and it's a bit more processed. Some oats, I see this a lot in the UK, and I'm not from the UK, but I moved in here, it's like such a surprising thing to me. Sorry if I offend something, but the oats to be made in microwave that are powdered to like a powder. And this is less of a whole oat. I mean, it's still technically oats and the macros are still the same, but it's a powder that is less filling and all the fibers have been like destroyed already. And then you're gonna have the oats that you cover in honey and sugar and add some flavor to it, and you bake and you get granola. And like granola is processed, okay? And you can like make oat flour and make anything out of it. So this is whole processed food. So when you choose your food, every single meal, you want to choose something that is less processed. If you are in a supermarket and you're looking at this like Tesco meal deal, you should go into eggs instead of protein bowls. You know, this means that like egg is the best protein bowl. So please remember, you should not choose the foods that are labeled as healthy. You should choose foods that you believe are whole. And by the way, whole foods are never labeled because they sold like eggs are sold as eggs. Eggs are not labeled as whole, and oats are not labeled as whole, and buckwheat groats are not labeled as like whole buckwheat groat, because like is not whole salmon fillet, okay? Like, so whole foods are usually just not labeled. So if a food is not labeled and it's been not processed before getting to a plate, that's like a deal choice. And what you want to do is like every single time you have a choice, please choose something that is whole. Some dishes are complex, like a salad. A salad is essentially whole stuff just mixed, but for example, you can have a sauce that is like something you didn't know, so you can just always put sauce aside. Whole foods is great, and it's probably gonna drive you very, very far, but it is not enough because there is one other rule about food, and it's tracking. And I know you probably hate hearing this from me, but tracking is essential. The good part is that tracking can be easy and enjoyable, like absolutely not as hard as like MyFitnessPal. By the way, I do track MyFitnessPal. I know it's very annoying. For me personally, it's been easy. I got used to this, and I've been like MyFitnessPal customer for like probably 10 years. I mean, MyFitnessPal strike is like 300 days. I'll find and show it to you, but it's just like how I enjoy it. But also it's because I'm an athlete and I really need like extreme precision. Most of the people don't. And please like don't think that you need to be extreme athlete. Trust me, how athletes look on stage is sometimes not what you want to look in life. But there is a tracking method that is proven to be even more working, even like better and easier. And this is hand method. I'll teach you, and it's very, very simple. Each time you have food, you use your hand to measure your food. And protein, for example, a piece of meat or a steak or a fish, you try to have it like roughly the size of your like palm in here. If you have carbs, for example, you have pasta or grains, you choose a handful of carbs, like a cupped hand, like this. If you have fats, so this is avocado, oils, peanut butter, I love peanut butter, you choose like the thumb, like this part, that much. And if you have vegetables, you wanna have like your whole hand, or even more, honestly, vegetables if they're fresh or like not covered with oils, they're just beautiful in any quantities. So this is the method. And next time you have to count, you just calculate how much food you need with a calculator, and then you get the number of like these portions, and you just use the portions. So the only thing you need to remember during the day are even like that every single time that you have like 4 meals, for example, and every single time you have that many protein, that many carbs, that many vegetables, and that many fat. And this becomes super easy. Even if you travel, go for a date, go to a restaurant, you always can keep accountable. But then it's not precise, okay? But what happens if it's not precise? It's fine, because despite it's not precise, you're always using the same unit of measurement. It's always your hand. So this unit means that if you make adjustments, it's always good, because these adjustments are like within the same scale of measurement, which is very good, and it's almost like calories, to be honestly. And next time you, for example, measure yourself and you don't see enough progress, you take your whole bunch of carbs that you need and you just get 1 handful of carbs out in a day. Or you see that you lose weight too fast, or you want to gain muscle, you add a bit more carbs. And this is how you do it. This is how you manipulate. It's very, very easy. Sometimes people start with calculators, and it is actually good. The only thing, a calculator will never give you the precise amount of calories. I mean, you will receive calories that are a good starting point, but you need to understand that it's impossible and to count a precise number of calories you spend during the day for any human. So what you need to do is you start with this basic point, and then once you track your progress with your body, you just adjust. And this is how people do, this is how athletes do. I know that if it's your first time dealing with a calculator or counting food, it can be hard. So please use the link down below if you want to receive your personalized calculation, instructions how to pick food, or even need some help. Point number 3. And I mentioned it briefly, and honestly, I believe it's second most important point, aside of my last one that I will mention. But again, we're gonna get there. So point number 3 is tracking your progress. I mentioned this briefly in the food part, but I see that people who are trying to lose weight, what they usually do, they go in front of their mirror, stand in front of their mirror, stare at themselves and like, I don't like myself, and that's it. Or I like myself, and that's it. Usually the second part, like I like myself, already doesn't happen because you won't be watching this video, but usually what happens after I don't like myself. Does this really mean that one day we come to a mirror and we suddenly changed how we look? We all know that bodies change gradually, okay? So it will also change gradually how we look. So why do we come to a mirror and expect to suddenly look different? It doesn't make any sense. I know. What do you want to do instead? You want to track, because your body changes gradually, and some of the changes, positive changes, can happen and you just won't be noticing them. So it's best to measure yourself every single week. And I know it sounds hard, but I've been measuring how I look for, I think, past 3.5 years. I'll post my first report daily here, and honestly it takes me like 5 minutes a week. Even if I'm on vacation, even if I'm traveling, it's never hard. What I do is I do my measurements. I don't start with weight, I know, but I do my measurements. So I know the areas I want to measure. I want to watch my waist, I want to watch my hips, I want to watch my like single hip. This is what I measure with the measurement tape. 2, I make pictures, because sometimes what can happen is like your measurements may have like changed too much. The pictures change, like I like myself more, and you will start noticing this. So then I do my pictures, and only then I do weight if I have scales. Obviously when I travel, I don't travel with scales unless it's a competition. I carry my weight scale for a competition. Everyone laughs at me, but normally I don't. So, and then you do weight. Weight is least precise measurement. What you want to do is you probably want to measure the side of your most problematic part. So for example, if it's your abdomen, so if like you don't look your belly, you probably want to measure this one. And it's not because you want to remind yourself how you don't like it. No, it's just because your most problematic area will probably start changing first, and you will just be happier. Again, it is ideal to work with a coach to sort of pass the results to them so they can assess, but if not, you will have a track yourself. And trust me, I, for example, have a track with my weight and for over a year, or like calories or progress, and it's just so enjoyable, and so enjoyable to look the way I've done. Or like my album with my progress pictures is over 500 photos, and like if I'm very demotivated and I think I look horrible, I just look into these pictures and like, okay, I've done some way, I probably don't look that bad. So please, measurement is so important. Step number 4 is activity. And I know it can surprise you that only now I've got to activity levels, but this is true. Activity is necessary, but it is not the first thing you need to do. If you would be not doing sport at all, you just want to fix how you eat, you just want to fix how much you eat, and you want to like sort of establish this tracking system, and then you'll be good. But sport really helps in 2 ways. First, it helps to expend energy. You want to just spend calories. Calories are energy. Basically, is like money. If you wanna your body be smaller, so like have less money, you wanted to give out more than you receive. I know it's very opposite from all the investment recommendation, but this is what you want to do. And obviously activity helps a lot, because we know as we move, we spend more calories. And this simply happens because our muscle is like organs that consume the most energy, so you want to move your muscle as much as possible. So what do you do? And in these terms, you want to choose the sport that just you can do for longest, because this is the most you can spend calories on. And most of the people choose running, but actually walking is proven to be best, because you constantly move, and trust me, this is enough calories to burn, but also you can do it for long, and you can enjoy, you can sustain, you can walk with friends. So walking is ideal, what we call cardio. And when you hear the word cardio, this is precisely a type of activity that can do for long to spend calories. By the way, you don't have to be too intense. And there is second type of sport that fills in your frame. So imagine your body is a frame and now it's of a certain shape, but you want to have a different shape. So for example, usually ladies want something hourglass and males want something like upside down triangle, okay? So filling in this frame is due to like second type of sports. What I like is saying of one of the bikini coaches, his name is Adam Bonilla, and I follow them and I just admire him. He says that you look what you're trying for, okay? So if you choose a sport, you'll probably look like athletes in the sport, roughly. I mean, obviously not Olympic athlete, but like roughly, if you do long distance running, you'll probably have slim legs, but also quite developed core. If you do like CrossFit, you're probably gonna be developed a lower, but like core will be even more developed. You'll have quite big obliques. If you do, I don't know, powerlifting, you'll probably be very, very strong, but given how much energy you need to lift, you're probably not going to be too lean. And if you do sprint running, your legs going to be bigger, and so on and so forth. So when I was looking for a sport that makes my frame look better, and by the way, I wanted my frame to look better. Why? It's because at some point I was at the point where I was already feel like, okay, I lost a couple of kilos, and I suddenly noticed that my butt is not round. I left in this like pink pony world of all my life, thinking that if I'll be the thinnest, I'll be the beautiful. And it's not true, because I started, so for some reason I thought that like if I become slimmer, my butt becomes rounder, which is like so counterintuitive, I know. So I had a moment of realization where I just looked at my butt from the back in the mirror in the fitness club, and I noticed that it becomes more just flat. And I realized I want to lose weight, but my butt will be even more flat. So essentially what I started to realize, okay, like what kind of athlete maximize everything they do for just looking best aesthetically? Obviously this is bodybuilding and this is bikini fitness. So I'm like, okay, bikini fitness athlete that indeed they optimize every single second, like every single moment of their lives to look as good as they do. So I realized the gym is the best part to do so. And it is true, because just gym builds muscle in the areas you want to have more filled, and this helps you build the frame. Also, building muscle has another type of benefit, is because muscle consume energy, as I mentioned to you, it means that you'll be able to eat more. And this is something that people usually don't think of when losing weight, but once you've lost weight, you probably don't want to keep your food low. So like you want to eat more at some point, like you want to lose weight, you want to be slim, but eat like enough. And what happens if you just lose weight? In the train, you'll probably have to stay within this like very, very narrow range of how much you can eat, because you don't move much. And muscle actually helps you look better, but also like it allows you to have more tissue that spends energy, and you're gonna be eating more. So honestly, my goal is just like to build as much muscle as I can, and like eat as much as I can without like looking worse than I do now. And I know that the girls are very, very afraid to like bulk too much, but trust me, it is not. I can show you my pictures, and I'm the leanest in my life, and I've been going to gym for like preps for a year and a half, and I probably missed like 1 or 2. Like I missed 2 weeks of training because of COVID. And outside of it, I merely missed like 1 or 2 trainings. Like I'm super frequent. Trust me, you won't bulk too much. And now, after we've come to all of these 4 points, we are ready to come to the most important one. Are you ready? It is mindset. And I know mindset is such a buzzword, and it's very general, and it's interpreted different for different people, but I'll try to be as specific as possible. What I see is mindset. So when I normally see people who are trying to lose weight, trying to be smart goal setters. Okay, smart is like the measurable goal that it's time, that is precise in time and precise in value. And people want to lose 5 kilos before the New Year's. By the way, it's time. Or like get lean for vacation. This is a horrible strategy. Why? Because if you achieve the goal, what you do next, you have no idea how to maintain. If you don't achieve the goal, what do you do next? Do you reframe the goal? No, people usually just get disappointed, like, nah, I'll look as I do in the New Year's, and I'll like won't care, and I'll buy a dress that is larger in size. This is not good thing. Also, what can happen, if you set a precise weight goal, you can reach the goal, and you can understand this is not the way you're happy in. You can realize that this is actually way too low weight and you want to gain weight, or on the contrary, you actually need to lose a couple of extra pounds to feel happier. So this is not a good strategy. I propose another one, and I propose a growth mindset and a even better strategy. The steps I've told you, they are absolutely working. They're working on anyone healthy. If you are a healthy human, your thyroid is healthy and your body is healthy, these steps will work. Anybody can look better, and this is true. If you don't, it just means some of these steps are just not executed well enough. So you want to make sure and review and see where you can improve. And trust me, even if you improve some of the parameters, you will look much better. So I propose a different mindset that I was sticking to, and alongside of my journey of losing weight, I've always been happy. I know it sounds so strange, but you will be better if you do proper nutrition and sport, but you track your progress every single week, or maybe every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, but you will constantly see your progress. And even in the moments when you are not yet in the where you want to be satisfied, you're still happy because you're still happy because you are making progress. Imagine this. I'll tell you something from my own experience. In 2021, I got my first bikini competition. It was not successful, but for me it was a huge success because I already lost lots of weight, and I think I was 54.5 kilo once I left the competition. And I started slowly gaining weight to get some muscle. And in the peak of April, I weighed 58.8 kilos, which is a lot gain. But imagine, because I was measuring myself all the time and just I was seeing my gains, I was happy all this time. And when we decided to cut in April, I went down for 7-8 kilos. I think I went 8 kilos down. But imagine that I was happy with how I am progressing every single time, and I was feeling feminine and extremely self-confident in every single stage of this journey, because in a week I would weight 58 kilos. I'm like, wow, I'm 0.8 down, I'm smaller, and I'm like, wow, it's such a boost of self-confidence. So trust me, what builds your self-confidence is not the precise number of the scale, but it's the journey you made. So try to enjoy the journey. And last part of the mindset, which is very important, and it sort of flows out of this one, is we want to cross out the grind mindset. And I know many people, they feel that if they're trying to lose weight, they need to grind, and this is not true. In fact, the more you grind, the probably less successful you will be. Why? Because if your body is stressed, if you are stressed, and you already have some weight you don't like. So there are people who lose weight when they're stressed, but probably then you won't be watching this video. But for most people, if they're stressed, they don't lose weight. Just if your body is too stressed, it feels endangered, and it want to keep as much energy as it wishes for itself. Try to remember the other day when you, for example, did not have enough sleep. On that day, you have extreme cravings. Why? Because your body feels it doesn't have rest. They want to compensate with energy, but also because your body tries to compensate with energy, and it tries to carve out energy to maintain your basic functions in your body. It's also like taking some energy from willpower. You just have less willpower, and you're just tired, and you eat, and this is just a sad stuff. And imagine on the other side. This is what I noticed with me. If I would go I would always notice that I would go on vacation and lose weight. I even remember discussing this with my psychologist. And when I'm back to work, and I'm a grinder, honestly, I used to be such a workaholic, and I'm still a grinder in heart. So I would work a lot, I would gain weight, and I realized that there is a connection. And I just saw that when I'm rested and had enough sleep, and I'm surrounded by people I love, and I'm doing things I do in a flow, I just forget to eat. Okay, and when I'm too tired and grinding and just thinking about the training, I want to eat compensate. So I felt this strongly, and this works on humans, and there are so much research around this topic. So you want to make sure you don't grind. You want to make sure you are as loving, as caring to yourself. If these steps are too much, try to get them one by one, to introduce them one by one slowly, to make sure you're not too stressed. And in fact, most important steps are actually not hard. Like choosing whole food is not hard. I mentioned that sport doesn't have a grinder, it can be walking. So just try to be gentle with yourself and notice your progress. Again, it helps a lot to to just be happier every single step. And please leave in a comment the step you wanna start with. I think it's very important because it will guarantee that you will start.